y'all, this is Kelly Clarkson, and I'm officially announcing that I have a children's book coming out called River Rose and the Magical Lullaby. And it's so cute. Laura Hughes did such a great job, the illustrator. Do you like your book? Yeah! It's pretty good. Is that River Rose behind you? So it was kind of a cool thing to, be on a plane with my daughter. We were going on trips to the UK and Asia and Australia, and just all these amazing places that she was too little to remember, basically. So I started writing down these little fun stories of when she went, we went to Australia and she got to hang out with some kangaroos, and I thought I'd just write little cute stories for her and put little pictures with it, and that was the initial idea. This little stories ended up turning into a book, and for each place we kind of went. Who is that? Did you like writing your book? Yeah. Yeah. So I guess my hope is for little kids to read River Rose and the Magical Lullaby and, be inspired by it and know they can achieve anything and still dream big and make big things happen. Bye, that's so good.
She's so little there.
I don't even know your daughter, and I love her.
They grow so fast.
Okay, let me start.
She's a little pumpkin head.
Let me start with a really tough question for you.
Go.
Does she get publishing residuals?
Yeah, right? That's such a big question. No, she definitely, if I die, she makes out well. Right? I don't know. Is that morbid? Possibly.
So you said that your travels with her inspired your book, and the book is adorable.
Thank you.
It's really damn hard to write a children's book.
Honestly, I was such a tool. I thought it was so, I wrote these for my daughter, and I thought, rhyming book, I've got this, I write songs, and I thought I did a really great job. And then I started working with David, my editor, and just the meter in which a kid, learns and receives information is so different. So it's actually the most challenging part. Yeah, the idea for the book was already there, and it was written in my way. Then we rewrote it for this. So yeah.
So what was your writing process like for this?
Honestly, I didn't plan it. I was just writing it for my little girl. For when she started reading, I thought it would be cute if she had pictures of places she was at, and there were just tiny little stories for her, in each little, because her passport was loaded. Her passport was loaded with stamps, and she was 1. So, and I thought, that sucks. She's not going to remember anything. But so it just, honestly, it wasn't really a process. I did it for my kid, and then it just turned into this. So I love it that way. It was no pressure. It was just something fun.
How did you even think to write down those little anecdotes? Because you're right, it goes by so fast. And I can't remember what my son and I did last year or last month.
Well, my mom, I get that from my mom. She gets it from her mama. That's a good song. Oh, gosh, I'm tired. I'm sorry. You're going to get a lot of that. No, but my mom is a teacher, and her favorite grade to teach was first grade, and she loved teaching kids how to read. And, she was just always creative and always doing stuff like this as a kid. So it was kind of second nature to me, just growing up in it and around it. I don't know. I have my mom, a lot to thank for just being able to navigate it and David Linker, my editor, just bringing me into the world of writing. But it was just fun, like I said, just to be inspired by something so natural and organic, and it wasn't forced. I never thought I'd write a children's book, ever.
Do you see another one in your future?
Well,
for your
I already
son,
have
maybe?
several, and and there was a different lullaby that went with each story. So the first one we started with was the zoo, and I like that too, because we decided to go with the zoo because it's a place where any kid can go. I was a poor kid, and obviously my daughter's not, so it's just a very different situation. Doesn't matter what your walk of life is, you can go to a zoo and you can have a great time, and everything can still be magical for you. And so we thought that would be a really cool start. So,
what's your bedtime routine like with your kids?
It's intense because I get the guilt, because if I'm working, I'm a working mom, so every working mom has the guilties. So there's a process. Like we read and it's like 4 books every night.
Good God, you're my hero.
I mean, I really try and do it with it because it's like our time alone as well, because we have 4 kids total. So it's like our time alone. Well, actually, Seth and Remy will come in sometimes, but mostly it's our time alone. And then we turn off the lights, and she's in a little sleep sack, and I sing to her. And I always sing the little lullaby that I wrote before the book, actually. And then she loves Patty Griffin's rowing song. So I sing that, and then she goes to bed, and I have to move her hot air balloon mobile like 4 times. She's very demanding about it. I'm like, I do it once to make him go, and she's like, more. I'm like, oh my God, go to bed.
And then the same thing with your son?
And
same
then I go,
routine?
yes. And honestly, we sleep trained our first kid, and then we heard about, and that was hard, and we did a dang good job. Like, by 12 weeks, she was sleeping 11 hours a night. Yeah, so what? But anyway.
For those of you who don't have kids, you should all bow down, because that is hella impressive.
I'm just saying, my nanny gave me this book. Everybody gives you a book, and I was like, blah, blah, blah. I read it. I did it. It worked. Anyway, but then I heard of a thing called night nurses. And I was like, nobody told me about this. My husband and I would have definitely done this. So we, were with Remy like the first, I think, a few weeks maybe. And then we have ladies come in and stay with him at night, because you're a better mom when you get sleep.
You're a happier mom.
You're a happy mom. It's the trickle-down system. Yeah.
All right, let's talk books.
Yes.
What was your favorite book growing up?
Matilda. I loved.
You could read over and over.
I loved it, and it was my first of all, it was my first like big book to read, like, a lot of pages, and I was like, oh, this is a feat, like, and anyway, so I ended up reading it, and I thought it was the first book my mom kind of made me read a lot, and I was always like, you're a teacher, not every kid has to do this at their house, like, and I hated it. And then Matilda was really the one book that just opened my eyes to like the fact that like you can find a story and an author that you really connect with, and it's like books don't have budgets, so you are it's limitless what you can imagine. If you're reading like Harry Potter, like my world in my head might look different than the movie, although they do a fantastic job. But anyway, it's just the first book that kind of just hit me, and I was like, I related to her a bit because I was an outsider, just weird kid. We moved a lot. I just didn't have much, so I don't know. I think if you find that book and you connect, I try and get our 9-year-old and 15-year-old into it. Our 15-year-old had to pick a big book. She's like a sophomore in high school, and she had like 4 books or whatever, and I was like, pick Jane Eyre, because it was like one of the 4, and I was like, that's my favorite book. And then she saw the size of it and hated me, and she did. And then she was texting me like all throughout reading it and going, oh my God, when is it gonna happen? What's gonna happen here? And I just loved that like. I'm like, see, that's what books can do, like,
right? Like,
yeah.
when you get into a good book, it's like you don't want it to ever be over, because it's like, we just had Paula Hawkins here today who wrote Girl on a Train, and I told her, like, it's like this profound sense of loss when a book that you love is done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, because you can't do it again. Yeah. You already know what happens. Yeah. Like,
So Jane Eyre is it for you as a grown-up?
That's one of my favorite classics. Yeah. I just love. She had like legitimately every hurdle thrown at her, and just basically crapped on her whole life. Like, it was like, what? Like, and I love that she just kept overcoming it and was like, whatever, like, just kept going, because that's what you have to do. And
that seems to be a lot like you.
Yeah, I tend to pick books that, is that egocentric? Possibly. Oh well. I'm an artist. What do you expect? But no, I think we all tend to gravitate like towards, characters we relate to, obviously.
So, of all the books that you've read, which character do you think is the closest to you?
Somebody asked me this the other day, and I think I'd probably have to say a mixture of Jane Eyre and Matilda. I'm very, like, even at the age of 34, my friends will tell you back there, like, I still believe in the impossible, like the real impossible. Like, we can't fly. But in my mind, I'm like, we could possibly fly. We just haven't figured it out. Like, it's like, I'm seriously like a child. Like, it's next level. But I kind of love that, because it's like, I don't want to lose that. I love the like childlike aspect of life, and how, I don't know, I feel like sometimes we lose that. And that's why I love children's books. And even before I wrote them, I love them. And especially like the Shel Silverstein, like the poems, those are my favorite too, because I obviously love poetry and singing. But.
You have written or co-written some of, I think, the most memorable songs that have come out in recent years.
Hopefully.
Let's hope. I'll say it. How is writing a book different from writing a song?
Oh my gosh.
It's like night and day?
Night and day. I mean,
that I haven't done either,
No, I'm just saying, like, yeah, it was... like I said, I was pretty much a tool walking in. I thought I was like, I write songs all the time. I got this. Like, it was, no. There's a reason why people go to college for it. So, like, yeah. It's a definite, it's just different because you have to learn how a kid, you don't think about it because you're a grown-up at this point, but how the cadence in it, the meter in it, like, everything has to flow in a certain way for it to really translate and be productive for them and productive for you. Like, so it's like, I don't know, it's just a different thing. David Linker, my editor, deserves all the high praise because he really, it was like college 101 for writing. I was like, what? I thought I was really good. Turns out I'm not. I have this amazing story. It's already done. He's like, yeah, no. No, we're going to work on that a bit.
Does your daughter know the book is about her?
She's 2, so I think she thinks things are normal that aren't. Like, I think she thinks everybody has, like, books with their name. I think she thinks, like we were shooting Ellen the other day, and, like, she's backstage. I think she doesn't think it's weird that I'm on TV. I think she thinks everyone's on TV. Like, so that's not normal. So I don't know what we're going to do about that. Like, people are like, how are you going to keep her normal? I'm like, I don't know. Like, that's nothing we do is normal. So, or, like, for my normal when I was a kid.
I'm not on TV, and my kid is so spoiled that it's beyond.
Yeah,
like,
we try. I mean, I don't know. We discipline her. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
How do you travel with the whole troupe?
It is intense. Like, we have a village. That's not a joke. We have 4 kids total. So sometimes, usually our 15-year-old, she's an equestrian. She's not with us a lot. But we just recently were in LA and had the 9-year-old, the 2-year-old, the 3-month or 5-month-old, and it's just, on top of recording an album, on top of doing River Rose stuff, on top of going to Disneyland and being like, it's a fun day. Like, it's like, yeah.
I saw your picture with Cruella de Vil, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And then, like, the next day I'm in the car talking to my assistant going, it's too much. And then the next day I'm fine. But I'm such a mom. It's like, bottle of wine in the Bible. Yep. It's like, help me, Jesus. I don't want to kill him. I might.
Wine in sippy cups, that's the answer.
Yes. I was like, it is my answer. Jesus liked it too. He didn't.
I think you and I are team wine.
Yeah, I think every mom is.
Or they're lying.
Yeah.
So what's up with the new album?
It's amazing. It's my first album. Yeah. It's
I think you have some fans out there. I'm just
guessing. I think they might buy it. Yeah, thank you. I don't know. It's gonna be honestly so great. We're already recording it, and this is the first time I ever got to pick my label. Like, I came straight from Idol, and for 14 years I worked with who I had to work with, and it was just the hard thing about that was there's 4 different executives that I worked with, and it's like starting over each time, even though it's the same label. It's very hard. So it was nice to just pick a label that really already had the same desires as I did for, like, where I was going to go artistically, and for them to be open for me to make a country record one day if I want to. Like, it was really cool to bring art back into the game, because I think sometimes that we lose that in the music industry. But anyway, it's just very soulful. It's very, like, urban, kind of edgy, and it's definitely not pop rock, but there's anthems, but it's like a different kind of anthem. It's like anthem with some stank. Yeah, so I could, like, sing. Because you know why? This is why I'm making this album. This is one reason why. I sang at the inauguration, and at the inaugural ball, my husband and I were walking around, and Steve Harvey, one of my favorite people, came up to me and was like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't know you could, like, sing. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, what have I been doing for 14 years? And he goes, no, I like your stuff, but like you should make a record like that. Like, where's that record? And I was like, it's coming. I was like, you're gonna know it. But it's true. I don't feel like I've done a record that's really shown my potential. So.
And so you feel like you have total creative control this time.
Yeah, and what's awesome is that I don't have to have all the control. Like Craig, who runs the music, the A&R side of it, of the label, we agree on like almost everything, and we're very like bold with each other. Like, I don't like that, and he's like, I don't like that. Like, it's just very respectful, and it's very just, it's a team effort, which is awesome when you have someone on the team that wants you to have an opinion.
I think that's really great because I think you can sing, so I'm really
Thank
forward to hearing.
I know, see, I went home like, I was like, what have I been doing? I was like, it's all for naught. I was like, oh my God, you're more than just stronger.
You're totally not dramatic.
Yeah, not at all. My daughter is a piping, just straight up twin. Yeah, it's karma. Yeah.
So between this and your music and all the other stuff you have going on, how much of a workaholic are you? You are still?
Yes. I have this thing I do where my husband and assistant combined, they always, as an effort, they try and reel me in because I just want to do everything, and not because I want to conquer everything, just because I don't know, you get one life, and it's like, if this is interesting and it's fascinating, I'm like, well, let's do it. Why not? There's 24 hours in the day, but it's a lot, but I'm really bad at time management, so I have a team of people help me with that. So
that they cut you off. They're like, okay, Kelly, enough.
They try. My assistant actually, she legit said this to me the other day because I was like, I feel like I need help with time management or something. I was having a total moment, and she said, okay. She's like, I hear you and I validate that. I'm just gonna need you to listen to me though. Whenever you can't be combative. You can't be like every time I'm like, hey, this might be it's a 17-hour day. Maybe not. And you can't go, I got this, at the end of the day, because that's who I am. It's so annoying. But anyway, she's lovely.
And last question.
She's great. She keeps me level, treading water.
When you're in the studio, do you instantly know if a song is working?
Yes. And if it's not, more so, yeah. And that's just honestly, sometimes I love a demo so much that somebody sent me their song and I'm like, oh, this is killer, but then I sing it, and it's not that I don't feel like I can sing it well, it's just I'm not the person that's supposed to sing it. And I just feel like you should cater to the song. I guess that's the songwriter in me, but pretty much right away. You don't know sometimes, though, what's going to be hugely successful because you're like, things. It's always the time when you're like, this is going to be amazing. They're going to love it. That it's like an album track that no one knows. They're like, was that on an album? That's weird. Never heard of that. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I just put my heart and soul into it, whatever. But then it's the one that I'm just like, meh, it took me an hour to cut. And they're like, it's number one for whatever many weeks. And you're like, sure.
Well, and actually, this is really the last question before we go to the audience. How did you know this book was working? Who was your reader that you read it to that said, this is magical?
Honestly, okay, this is going to sound weird maybe, but I didn't necessarily care if everybody else loved it. I did it for my daughter. So it was it's a really cool thing for her. So, hopefully, I don't know, maybe she'll just be later in life, I don't know. But I did it. It just came from such a good place. And it's kind of how I make my albums. I do things just because I want to do them. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they connect, sometimes they don't, A lot of it is kind of aligning of the stars. So, but I'm a mom and I love reading to my kids and I love the magical kind of colorful. Laura Hughes did such an amazing job illustrating it. So, I guess I'm hoping other, people are just like me, but maybe they're not.
No, that
Will
book
you
is
buy
actually,
my book?
I have your book, and it's actually not one of the books that you dread reading every night. There's certain books where you're
I do have those books. You know which ones I loved? And the author recently passed away. It's so sad. The llama books.
I love the llama
book. Oh my God, my daughter loves those. Yeah.
And the dragon books when she's older, a dragon gets by, dragon and a fat cat. Amazing.
We haven't reached
those
that.
Those are the 2-page chapter books.
Oh.
And when she's 5, because then they get so excited that they're reading a chapter book for grown-ups.
See, the chapter books I started with Seth, our subsummer, the Magic Treehouse. He does those a lot. Aww. Yeah. So, we force him at this point. We're still trying to reel him into it's magical, it's great.
He's like, whatever.
And he's like, I want to play Minecraft. Sure, for another 6 hours.
All right, to our audience, please.
How's it going? Right over here.
Where? Hi. Oh God, I was
How's it
looking through the
going?
audience. That was so weird. Okay.
When you started working on the book, did you have a specific idea as to how you wanted the artwork to look like?
It's so funny you say that. So it's almost like production, like or writing songs as well. You hear it in your head, and like sometimes you get with a producer and they nail it, and sometimes you're like, oh, in my brain it was better. She was like dead on. Like I didn't know what to say. I kind of gave a few like ideas and like characteristics of the character, but Laura Hughes like nailed it. Like, you know, she's just this slightly disheveled but fun and loving and just creative little kid. So I think she did an amazing job. It's like art at its finest, especially the carousel page and the zoo party and everything. But yeah, bye, you're leaving. It's like, that was a crap answer.
And one final question, please.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
Oh,
Again,
same
oh
spot,
my
same
God.
spot.
It's like I've been drinking, but I'm not. Yeah. I've literally had an hour and a half of sleep. Maybe that's the problem.
So my question is, we talked a little bit about the difference between writing a book and writing songs.
Yeah.
I was curious if there was a difference in your process between writing an album song or a song for your book.
No, I mean, once again, there was no pressure. I mean, people will like it or not, but I wrote them for my daughter. So they were just already there before the pressure of like, hey, we're going to write you know what I'm saying? It's different when you start a project and you go, I have to write a song for this. Like, it was just already there. And I think that's what kind of makes it sweet, because I wasn't trying to do anything. I'm actually kind of embarrassed when I have to sing it, because it's something super sweet when you're like rocking your child, like, and it's like, oh, it's your song, it's dark, she's going to bed, and then like doing it like now, like it's like embarrassing because you feel like you're just in Glee or Mary Poppins or something, like, you know, you're just, I'm gonna bring out a song, like, but it was kind of easy because there was no pressure. I wasn't thinking about it, which I think those are the best things. They
come from the heart as opposed from overanalysis.
Yeah, it wasn't forced. It wasn't like, you should write a children's book, and then I wrote one. So that wasn't the case.
And speaking of, when is it out?
October. Today!
Today!
I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm a published author.
You are a published
official.
author. And a published author
I know. I told
ensemble.
my stylist, she was like, what's your look? And I was like, published author? I was like, I want to look studious.
Love it.
Intellect.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.